lot of people that like keep money in their shoebox, believe it or not.
I have a friend who has a dispensary.
You want to report all your cash too, because it can get a little tricky. And
Disclaimer.
I was always good at math.
You were the person that I was cheating off.
So you're just making up numbers?
That's another loophole too.
We paying ourselves $1. Tell us more about loopholes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell us about the loopholes. Is there any real estate loopholes?
Buy cars and jewelry and houses, and then like you do crazy stuff like pull up to the dealership with 50,000 cash.
Catch me if you can.
So
I feel like they keep us in the dark
They do.
intentionally.
they do.
I'd rather spend it on my business than give it to these clowns.
Be honest, folks.
Yeah.
About reporting that money.
I'd say
Yeah,
definitely-
be honest to a dishonest government.
Yeah.
You owe me X amount of
Uncle
dollars.
Sam.
Uncle Sam definitely wants his money. If you have a staff meeting, but who's gonna have a staff meeting in the middle of the club? Like, come on, you guys.
Is there a certain limit on how much?
Is there any other way to have a staff meeting? That's how Miami was built.
I know a lot of people who file their taxes legit that have OnlyFans.
A lot of people. You know a lot of people.
I have a. No, not in that type of way. I would love to see the IRS have more consistency in the way their tax laws change and how soon they change to adapt to how our country is moving.
Hey, President Trump wrote off haircuts. As a guy with haircuts, I need to know.
Build generational wealth. Like put the money in places where
Trust
your
accounts.
kids-
Trust accounts, real estate.
Yeah, real estate. Those kinds of things where you're building for decades and generations to come, so that like your kids and grandkids can benefit from it.
Doesn't even have cars anymore. He has like spaceships.
Literally, yeah.
Cars.
What is a car?
Yeah, like I got a rocket that launches to the moon. You know,
Right.
I
You're
need a car
right.
for-
I don't need a car.
Omni and the Lamborghini.
The Omni's in prison.
How much are you spending a month? You're never gonna know, like, are you profitable? Are you not profitable? Can you make an investment? Can you hire more people? Can you expand? Because you don't even know how much you're taking home at the end of every month.
Can I ask the government and IRS what they spend their money on dollar for dollar? Welcome everyone to episode 16 of Weekly Deposit. We have a truly spectacular guest with us today, a leader and a pioneer in her community. She has developed a strong reputation for her expertise in financial analysis, tax preparation, and business strategy. She is an Augsburg University alumni with a finance degree. She is a globe-trotter. She's always somewhere. Someone with passion to empower individuals to take control of their finance. She's built a loyal client base. She's an entrepreneur who is a proud owner of her own accounting business called Universal Accounting Services, and overall just a great friend, a mentor, a person. Please give a warm welcome to Elham Adem.
Hey.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's cash in. Let's get started. We always give the first question is always the same with all of our guests. Mm-hmm. We always ask all of our guests this first question because me and Julian are avid travelers. We love traveling. We love seeing the world. We love learning new cultures. Especially Julian loves trying new food.
I do. I love new food.
So, with that being said, what's the last place you visited? I know what the last place is, but tell the viewers and listeners what's the last place you visited and what's the next place you're going to.
Okay, so last place I visited was Hawaii. I was just there like a week and a half ago. Just got back last week.
Okay. Way to throw it on us.
Yeah.
Flex. Okay.
Definitely recommend people to go there. It's beautiful.
Where in Hawaii?
I went to Honolulu.
Okay.
So the main island, Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
And then, or Oahu, I guess you can say. And then we had a chance to leave the area where a lot of the tourists are. So we drove to the North Shore, which is where all the locals live.
Okay.
Definitely like the best experience. I thought it was better than where all the resorts and stuff were, because you really get to see like the Hawaiian culture. You get to eat fresh food. You get to see other beaches that are not like super
touristy.
Touristy. And then I don't know, it's just the scenery is so beautiful. Like it's just something different. So yeah, that's where I just was. And then next trip, I always take a trip after tax season. I have a couple of places on my list that I'm thinking about going to. So one of them is Turkey. My pops is actually taking a trip there, so I might tag along with him.
Istanbul.
Yes.
Yeah. My mom went there. She absolutely loved it.
Yeah, he was just there in January, and then he's going to go back in April. So I think I might go with him. If not there, I may go back to Arizona. That's one of my like places that I like to go to.
Oh,
in May.
let's go.
You like Arizona?
What part of Arizona?
I always go to Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Old
Yep.
Town?
Yep.
You like to hang out in Old Town?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
okay. I do too.
Yeah, the weather is so nice around that time, and it's like our rainy season here. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
It gets hot there though.
Super
it is.
hot.
It gets
100
really.
degrees.
Yeah, 100 degrees.
Yeah.
You cannot be out there during the daytime.
No, not at all. The last time I was there last year, we tried to do like four-wheeling. And
Yes, I did too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the crack of dawn, like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. before the sun really starts beaming, or they do it like in the evening.
You know, it's really good time to go in the fall. Like our fall. Yeah. Well, I went last September and the weather was fine.
What was it, like 80s?
Yeah, it was about 80s, but it got down to about like 60s around like 4 or 5ish, which isn't bad.
I was actually just there. I didn't leave the airport, but that was where my layover was from
Yeah.
Hawaii. It was cold when I got off the plane. Like
Yeah.
cold. And I was like, I don't want to come back.
Yeah,
fresh.
people say
I wanna
don't go in the
back out.
summertime. I mean, you can go in the summertime and have fun and all that
Yeah.
because of pool parties and stuff.
Yeah.
But just like being out there all day, like no, it's
Oh no.
you can't do it.
It's a desert. It gets cold at night for sure.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is
Yep.
definitely cold around this time
Yep.
of year. I've
Yeah,
been
it
in
is.
our winter months, and I thought it was going to be hot. Packed all shorts, and I was pissed off
Yeah.
when I got there because it's like 40 degrees. I'm like, dang, I did not know that it gets cold. And they're like, yeah, we get cold months too. I'm like,
My bucket list is Hawaii because I used to watch the show Lost. So after
Oh,
this,
yes.
yeah.
Lost
so
is
like,
a good show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good
It
show.
was like my favorite show. I'd have my mom tape it for me back when it was like VHS tapes and stuff.
yeah.
So we'll talk about this afterwards because I need to get some recommendations and
For
stuff like
sure.
that. Okay. We want to ask you, how'd you get started in the accounting industry and kind of what led you to start your own business?
So when I was at Augsburg, this is crazy. I started as a political science major because I thought I wanted to be an attorney. And then, but I knew I always wanted to minor in business. So when I started, I took the intro classes, wasn't for me. And then it got to the point where it was like, okay, you really have to figure out like, what are you going to major in? Because it's clearly not political science. So my academic advisor was like, start taking more business classes. So I took management. It was okay. I just knew it wasn't for me. I took marketing. That was not for me either. And then I took accounting 101, like that intro class. And I was like, okay, this really makes sense. But when I thought about it, I was like, I was always good at math. Like I was always that person that was in like the advanced math classes. So,
Calculus and all
all
that. AP.
that.
You were the
Yeah.
person that I was
Yup.
cheating off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's like the one class that I was like really, really good at. So I was like, okay, like let me just lean into what I'm good at kind of thing. So the accounting professor, she was super nice, and I would like go to her office and be like, can you double check my work and just make sure? She's like, you got this. Like you should really consider getting into accounting and finance. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna think about it. So I like would go home and like do my own research. Like, okay, what kind of like careers can you have, or what kind of jobs, and how much do they pay? 'Cause that's what I really want to know. Like, am I gonna be able to?
Where's the shmoney?
Yeah, like what's the starting salary at, or how far can I go with it? So once I kind of started to figure that out, and I was like actually doing well in the classes, and I liked it, I was like, all right, I probably should declare my major. And then I took a finance class. So they're intertwined, but when you declare your major, you have to pick one or the other. So I ended up picking finance just because I felt like the research that I did and like mentors that I spoke to, you can cross over from like finance to accounting careers because they kind of talk the same language in a sense. Yeah. So that's kind of how I got into it.
Okay.
And then after I graduated school, I like picked up a side job doing taxes. So that's how I got into like the tax world of things. So like I learned about it in school, but they don't teach you how to like do a tax return to the extent that like a tax preparer or like a EA or a CPA would know. So I went to go pick up a little side hustle or whatever. I was like, okay, I got my corporate job, but I like was bored. I know this sounds crazy, but I was used to taking evening classes. So I was like, okay, now that I graduated college, like I got a lot of time on my hands outside of like my normal 40 hours a week. So I started doing taxes at Jackson Hewitt. And then I was like, oh, I like this. There's like good money in it. You're helping people. You're educating people because there's a lot of people that don't know about taxes. Like even when you talk about the basics of like, what is a 1040? When do I have to file my taxes? What is a W-2? What is a W-4? All these forms and things. So I was like, okay, I really like this because it's aligning with, you know, what I'm good at, and then I'm also serving people.
Yep.
So
I feel like they keep us in the dark.
They
intentionally.
They do. And it sucks to say it, but it's the truth. Like there's a lot of stuff that we're not taught about the basics of like financial literacy.
Well, there's also a lot of loopholes that you know about small business owners as well. W-2 is a little bit easier.
Yeah, W-2s is cut
and dry, simple to do.
It is.
You know, but things get a little foggy with small business owners. Yeah. Is there any things that you would recommend to some small business owners, like anything that's new that we should know about? Because we dread tax season. I don't know about these guys. I
love it.
You know,
like, I hate
it.
But I understand why people hate it though, because a lot of the times it's like it's kind of like a burden or like a fear. Like I don't want to have to deal with like all these papers and all these numbers and documents and things like that. So I would definitely say if you're a small business owner, get bookkeeping in place like when you start your business. And good bookkeeping is going to help you track your income and expenses and really get an idea of like your company's profitability. So that, like, you know, get your documents in order, keep your receipts, making sure that you're keeping track of your write-offs, and that kind of ties back into bookkeeping, so that you're not paying the IRS money that you don't want to be paying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, just taking advantage of those kinds of things.
So those are the kind of the recommendations you have to get better at budgeting and.
Oh yeah, because it's gonna go a long way. Like if you're a business owner and you're making money and spending money, but you have no sense of like idea of like how much are you making a month, how much are you spending a month, you're never gonna know like, are you profitable? Are you not profitable? Can you make an investment? Can you hire more people? Can you expand? Because you don't even know how much you're taking home at the end of every month. You know what I mean? Right. So bookkeeping is going to help you.
Is there any good apps you recommend?
Yeah, I was going to ask, is there some apps?
For sure. So QuickBooks online is going to be a really good one. You can also access it on your phone because it has an app. Wave is another accounting software. If you're in the early phases of business and you're not ready to spend on like monthly subscriptions and software, use Excel. All you have to do is literally document your every move in your business. So look at your bank statements, look at how much you're spending every month. What are you spending it on? Make sure you're documenting all that information. And where's your money coming from too? As deposits come in, making sure you record that as well.
Okay.
Gotcha. So those are kind of some tips you would have for 1099ers, because
1099ers too, because you're technically considered self-employed, and I think that's another thing a lot of people get left in the dark because they end up picking up a contract job or like a self-employed 1099 gig, and they don't realize that they're self-employed. So you don't have taxes being taken out of your pay. Now when tax time comes around, you're taxed like you're self-employed, like a sole proprietor. So you have to keep up with your expenses so that you can, you know, help lower that tax liability.
What do you feel are some common financial mistakes that small businesses make, and how can you avoid them?
So common financial mistakes, not doing their bookkeeping is a big one because let's just say, for example, you go a couple of years without doing your bookkeeping and you haven't done your taxes. Now you have to backtrack, which costs a lot of money because you have to pay somebody to do it for you. Yeah. And then you may not even remember what you were spending that money on, you know?
So you're just making up numbers?
No, because you'll sit here and be like, okay, well, what did I spend that $150 on in 2021 on July 1st?
Yeah.
If your bank statement doesn't give you like, you know, that description or memo line, you're kind of like, I think I spent it on supplies. I think I spent it on marketing. You got to get really detailed because the IRS wants to know dollar for dollar, where did you spend your money? So by category, meaning if you spend money at Amazon for supplies for your business, you're going to put that in the supply category. So that's one I would say.
Can I ask the government and IRS what they spend their money on dollar for dollar?
I wish we could.
Can it go both ways?
I really wish we could call
Unfortunately,
them.
it doesn't play. It does not go both ways.
It does not go both ways. Definitely doesn't. Some other mistakes, not keeping receipts. So if you're a business owner, you have to keep them for 7 years. So keep all your financial documents for 7 years because the IRS can audit you back, 7 years. Another thing I would say, not separating their personal and business finances. So if you're a business owner, you definitely want to have a business bank account. So checking, savings. So all of your business activity happens in those business accounts. It does not intertwine with your personal, because that's another big thing that comes up if you were to ever get audited, is they want to know, like, did you have a clean separation between the two? And that also gives you an idea of like correct finances too, because if you're mixing all of them, how do you know what's the difference between your personal and your business?
You're not.
You're not.
You're not.
That's just
Again,
the truth.
you're gonna go back to making up some stuff, or just like shooting in the dark.
Exactly. Yep.
What is a tax write-off?
So a tax write-off is an ordinary or necessary business expense that your business basically had to take on to operate your business, essentially. So, for example, like a write-off would be like marketing and advertising. So if you're paying for Facebook ads, or if you have a social media manager kind of thing, well, I guess that could be considered a contractor too, but if you're paying for website services, like if you have like Squarespace or Wix, you know, those kinds of things, supplies, contractor, if you have employees, salaries and wages, all these things that you think about, like, okay, I need to spend this money in these places to operate the business. That's going to be a write-off.
Okay, interesting question.
Yeah.
What if your business entails like you looking a particular way? Does that constitute like, I have to have this suit, I have to cut my hair this way?
So there's like,
hey, President Trump wrote off haircuts. I'm just, as a guy with haircuts, I need to know.
I think there's it can get very detailed. So it really depends on, what do you do for business? You know, what industry does your business belong to? Like me showing up to the office every day in a business suit because I have meetings with my clients, that's not going to
cut it?
That's a personal expense technically, because I want to look like this.
But it's a part of the business though. It's a professional setting.
Exactly.
There's a very thin line. So that I always say, like, when you get that detailed and you want to know, like, there's some people in certain industries where like, well, do my nails count? Well, it depends on for what though. Like, it was,
you gotta look good, presentable.
Yeah, so like that's why I always say refer to like IRS publications and have like you and your accountant look into it and see, like, do you qualify to write this off?
So my haircut doesn't count for a write-off.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Well, that, and then like, okay, TV personalities and etc. Right?
It's a little different.
They have to.
It's
look
a little bit different,
way.
yeah, in those cases. But like I'm using myself as an accountant. No, really, because I'm choosing to.
So
hold on,
wait a minute. We have a podcast, and can we say we're a TV personality yet, or no? You said
that's a stretch, but sure, why not?
We'd want to double check, because the other thing too is one, we don't know all the IRS laws off the top of our head. So I usually, like, if
what do you do though?
I'm saying me too.
Oh, okay.
Same,
okay.
Like most lot. People, yeah, it's a lot. Like a lot of people in our profession, like, you have to go double check. And the other thing too is IRS laws change year over year.
Yeah.
So what's okay right now may not be okay next year.
Yep.
So it's always good to refer back to publications.
Sounds like a trap.
Yeah. It's always good to go back to the IRS website, double check with your accountant too if you qualify.
Yeah, because to me, okay, here's my whole take on that, right? If I came to you as an accountant, right?
Yep.
And you looked super raggedy and this and that, would I not, as a human, judge that?
Yeah,
in some
we do judge
type of
people.
form, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're raggedy, like, why would I want this raggedy person?
Yeah. I feel the
my
same way about like realtors and like people
Correct.
who, you know, when you have like you're facing customers or what do they call, like
clients?
Clients.
Yeah, customer facing businesses or client facing businesses. It's important for you to look up to par, but
correct.
You know, the IRS.
Like, who wants to talk to me if I'm selling a $500,000 home or this or that?
And you show up in like baggy sweatpants.
Yeah.
Just rolled out of bed.
I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't take you seriously.
Thank you, IRS.
Yes. So that means that we can use our image, like our haircuts, and I don't know what else you do, but for me, just haircuts.
Yeah.
As a write-off.
I go into a cryo chamber. Come back.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, like, that means like especially for women, like nails, lashes.
It's more expensive for women.
We have so many different like moving pieces to making us look up to par. So,
yeah. No, I get
that. But I think that's where the IRS like creates those lines and like it's okay or it's not okay kind of thing. Because if not, people are just gonna go overboard and feel like
Which I feel like wealthy
single
people
thing.
do, so why not?
Wealthy people do find loopholes. But
Yes.
they're wealthy, so.
Tell us more about loopholes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, tell us about the loopholes. Is there any real estate loopholes?
Yeah,
And we can go off air with this.
Yeah, we can definitely go off air with this. I will say one loophole that I'm just going to say generally that a lot of people like to lean into is the S Corp. So S Corp election. It's
S Corp.
S Corp.
Okay. I thought you said
So
something
it's a tax election.
Okay.
And basically what happens is a business. So like we can say an LLC, for example. Let's just say I own my LLC and I'm making really good money and I'm profiting, like net profiting at the end of the year on my taxes, $60,000 a year. So at that point, I'm paying self-employed taxes on $60,000. That can be a lot, right? So that's like 15.3% right now, about 15.3, if not pretty close to it. So I can say I prefer to, elect as an S Corp, and the benefit of that is I myself as an owner can put myself on salary. So if I put myself on salary, now I can write off my salary as an S Corp. But, the difference is if I just stayed in LLC, right, like a sole proprietor, and I'm filing a 1040 Schedule C, I cannot take a salary. I take owner's draws. You can't write any of that off, right?
Yep.
So a lot of people will try to lean into the S Corp because it's a pass-through entity.
But doesn't the salary also then pay taxes in a way? Because
That's
you're
the other
basically then a
part.
W-2.
Correct. That's the other part of it, too, is you have to be aware. So the IRS says you have to pay yourself a reasonable salary. So you don't have to pay yourself like crazy amount of money, but you have to abide by that rule and pay yourself a reasonable salary. But like you said, now I'm an employee of my business and I have to pay federal, Social Security, Medicare, state taxes, and the business also has to pay payroll taxes too. So it costs, but you can write it all off.
Can you tell me, so I see a lot of CEOs and higher ups doing this,
Yeah.
the $1 a year salary.
The $1 a year?
Yeah, so they get paid $1 a year in salary, and most of their income or most of their thing comes through stocks because that can't be taxed.
That's another loophole too.
We're paying ourselves $1.
I know, right?
I mean, I can go into like a long tangent. I don't want to because it's gonna bore people. But yeah, there's other loopholes, especially when you start to see people in certain income brackets, tax brackets they call it.
Yes.
You'll find a lot of different loopholes that people will try to take advantage of.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, big corporations do this all the time. All the time. I mean, let's take Apple, for example.
Yeah.
All of their parent company is in Ireland. Ireland has no taxes.
Yep.
So basically, all of their stuff from here goes to Ireland, and then Ireland doesn't pay any taxes, so they're tax-free. I mean, you're talking about $1 trillion company here that doesn't pay any taxes.
Yep. A lot of companies will find their way into, making their way around paying taxes. So it kind of sucks in a sense because when we look at like the average American, right, like the person that's making $60,000 a year.
I think it's less than that. The average American is
40.
40.
Yep, 40. Your paycheck to paycheck, your kids and a family to feed, and we still get taxed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah, you get taxed before you even get your check.
Exactly. So, yeah.
And
it's
then
not fair.
It's always been funny to me because I've been on both sides of this equation, right? So when I was getting the whole W-2 paycheck, you get taxed and everything, and you kind of, for the most part, don't think about it. You just look at your net.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And at the end of the tax season, you get some money back. You're like, oh, great.
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you filled out your W-4 correctly.
Yeah.
Because
So
I've
I'm
seen
like,
where some people do exempt and then.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, great. The government gave me money. No, the government gave you your money back.
Your money back.
Yeah.
Correct. They didn't give you free money back.
And then
they
you go,
gave you your money back.
Yeah. And then you go spend it at Red Lobster thinking.
It's just your own money that you're spending. I love when people around this time like, oh, I'm going to get my taxes back. What are you doing with that? Like, come on.
Some new shoes, some Red Lobster.
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy a car or something.
Take a trip. Exactly.
It's your money.
It's your money. Exactly. It's like, you overpaid. Here's and then on the opposite side, you get all this money, that gross money that doesn't get taxed and stuff like that. You have the write-offs, but then at the end, the tax man's like, hey,
Yeah.
you owe me X amount of
Uncle
dollars.
Sam.
Uncle Sam definitely wants his money, but another tip I will say for business owners is to pay your quarterly taxes.
Yes.
You pay your quarterly taxes, that will help alleviate a big tax bill when you file your taxes, because essentially what you're doing throughout the year is you're paying in, kind of like what W-2 employees do.
Yeah.
The only difference is they, pay in bi-weekly or weekly,
Yep.
however their paychecks are kind of split. But and then, there are penalties too. If you're making a certain amount of money as a business owner and you're not paying your estimated quarterly taxes, you will get penalized. So
Okay.
it's good to follow up on those.
And you
things.
set your clients, your 1099s or business owners up on that, like a schedule or just like a plan when you sit down with them? Okay.
Yeah, so like quarterly taxes are due technically on the 15th of the month that follows that quarter, right? So like quarter one is going to end March 31st, so the payment would be April 15th, but April 15th falls on like a Friday, Saturday, so it's due on April 18th, which is tax day. So, and the schedule continues. It's on the IRS website. But yeah, if I work with clients who are 1099 or self-employed, I always tell them like, quarterly, and check back in with me. I will also send reminders out too when that time comes.
Okay.
So here's my thing with quarterly, right?
Yeah.
What about expenses and stuff like that? If I'm, so if I do it at the end of the year, I can expense. So I always tell Julian at the end of the year, like, remember why I bought that big old screen and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to spend, I got a little bit too much money here.
Right.
I got to spend some of this.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend it on my business than give it to these clowns.
Correct. So how quarterly taxes is calculated, I guess you can say, this is where bookkeeping comes in, is on a month-to-month basis. You have your gross income, all of your expenses, and then you have your net profit. You want to save 25 to 30% of that to pay for taxes, so that when that quarterly due date comes, you have money set aside. So those 3 months in that quarter that essentially like accumulates, right? The 25 to 30% that you saved. So now when you pay your quarterly taxes throughout the year and then you file your annual taxes, if you overpaid, just like a person with a W-2, they're going to refund you.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't keep your money.
Okay.
Yeah, they refund you.
Oh, no, they keep your money.
Nah, they going to refund you.
I have a very distaste for these guys.
Yeah, or if you owe them still, it just alleviates how high that that bill would have been, because they subtract your quarterly pay in, and then you're left with like hopefully a small balance.
A smaller balance.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. This question. So what about companies that have a loss or stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we were talking before on air about Uber and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've reported losses since they've been
Forever.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, so reporting a loss, essentially if you report a loss, technically the IRS can't tax you, right? Because how are you going to get taxed on the negative
That's a
net
loss, yeah.
income? It's a loss.
But I feel like that's a business strategy to do.
It is, to a certain extent.
Yeah, what's the negative behind that? Because then a lot of people would be doing
Yeah.
that. Then what's...
So the negative behind it is, one, it could, like, if you do it a lot of years consistently, especially for small businesses, it could potentially trigger an audit, because they want to see, do you really have a loss? Do your receipts and your bookkeeping really say you have a loss, or are you just BSing it so you don't pay taxes? The other part of it is, if you want to get business funding, or
you can
because your business is not profitable, because the bank is going to say, let's see your tax returns. When they look at your tax returns and your business is not profiting, you have a good gross income, but you have more expenses to bring you down to that loss.
It's such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It is definitely a double-edged sword. It gets very tricky. So you kind of have to think about, like, what is your end goal?
Yep.
Maybe if you get a grant or something like that, that might help.
Okay, let's talk about cash businesses. There's a lot. You were talking about nails before. Ladies love to do their nails, or when we go to the barbershops or other businesses, laundromats, etc., that take cash.
Yeah.
And then a new one, I have a friend who has a dispensary, right? And it's just legalized in some states. It's federally illegal, so it's not FDIC insured. Yeah. So he can't put his money in his bank. Yeah. So it's this gray zone area. Like, what do those people can do, or are most of those people are like, I don't want to report this to the IRS.
So I can really speak to, like, the first type of business, because that's a lot of the type of business owners that I work with is like beauty industry, barbers, laundromats is another good example. I'm trying to think of like what other types of business have like
lashes.
Yeah, anything in the beauty
businesses?
industry. Yeah, anything in the beauty industry. So if you if you allow your clients to pay with cash, nothing wrong with that at all. But I usually tell my clients deposit that into the business bank account, like at the end of the week or something. Like have a deposit day. And when you deposit it, make sure you're writing in your memo, like, income from this week or something along those lines.
Yep.
And you want to report all your cash too, because it can get a little tricky. And
Disclaimer.
Be honest, folks.
Yeah.
About reporting that money.
I say
Be honest to a dishonest government.
Right.
basically. Report all your cash, because one, you want to look like you're making money on paper. Like technically, for some people, like we talked about before, they prefer to take the loss, but like in reality, I personally would say, like, you want your business to look like you're profitable if you're really profitable. Like if you really have a strong business, like,
of course,
be honest and show that, and just be responsible as a business owner, and take advantage of, whatever tax strategies are out there to help you. But yeah, if you have a cash base, or if you accept cash, definitely report all of it. Because it could cause problems. Because what if an audit happens and they find out or something?
The big old scary audit.
Yeah, now you got to answer questions.
Have you dealt with that situation before? Is it very rare about auditing?
Audit?
Yeah, like
I have dealt with people who have gotten audited by the state, but not the federal. And with state, it wasn't anything like crazy. It just more so they wanted like documents to show less. One of them was a business owner. The other one was like a W-2, and they just wanted proof that the dependent was really their dependent, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't
the
really
32 kids I got.
Yeah, 32 kids, or half of them are your siblings, half of them are your kids. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, it was just more so that
in our
like,
community,
can you show
they're all
everybody's your kids and cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so that situation was more so just, can you prove documents? So like school records, medical records, what else? Landlord statement, or just stuff like that to prove that you actually like care for that dependent.
Yeah.
And then the other situation with the business owner was just showing receipts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Julian always share on Instagram or news, or anytime we see those people that took the PPP loans buying Lambos.
There's a guy that just got booked for 5.5 years. He was facing 23 years. I think his name's like Omni and the Hellcat or something like that. But
Omni and the Lamborghini.
The Omni's in prison.
Literally, I saw that, but I think I was reading, like, I don't know if it was related to a PPP. I think it said it was like a cable
scam. Like, how do you do a cable scam?
So I like tried to read through it last night late, and it says something along the lines of like, I think they were like selling cable to YouTubers or something. I don't know. I don't even know if I understood it correctly. I probably like had one eye open.
He made like over $5 million or something like that. That's how he was buying all these cars.
But he's silly though, because you were being flashy, and that's how like all eyes were on you. Yeah, all eyes were on you because you wanted to do silly stuff like, buy cars and jewelry and houses, and then like you do crazy stuff like pull up to the dealership with 50,000 cash. They're gonna be like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, where's it coming from?
Places like that ask.
That's how Miami was built.
Literally all the scammers.
That's how Miami was built. In Miami, when you pull up a cash, no one says nothing. They know where it came from.
Yeah. I don't know where he's from though.
Somewhere probably in Texas, or you know what I mean. You can get really nice cars out there for cheap in Texas.
Yeah, there's been a lot. There's been a lot in our industry too, in real estate, that got caught with the PPP loans, buying like penthouses and stuff like that. Where it's just like,
see, I didn't take out the PPP. I didn't put my name in the sweepstakes. So, but I know a lot of people that did, but actually did something with the money.
Yes.
Not just
like, listen. Okay, flashy. If the government's handing out money at an interest rate of 1%, it's kind of silly not to take.
One of my biggest regrets.
I did it.
One of my business regrets. I just. I
did. Yeah,
did you?
Yeah, I had the guys.
Business.
I had the real business. Yeah, I'm not in a Lamborghini or something. Like, I didn't do it.
You take it out too?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even have my business at that time.
Yeah, so
Okay,
2020,
okay.
right?
the guys came to me. They're like, "You'd be stupid not to," and they were right.
Yeah.
At the interest rate. It was basically like free money.
Yeah.
And then in the case that like the interest rate is so low,
Yeah.
right? Like if you took any other loan, a personal loan, you're talking 20-something percent.
Yeah.
Like,
And then they were doing like grace periods and forgiveness, all these things. So like if you were a legit business and you had staff and you could like prove all these things, it's like, why wouldn't you?
yeah, exactly. And I'm paying them back right now. So it's not like I'm on the run.
Yeah.
Catch me if you can. Okay. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen when doing someone's taxes or anything in regards to finance without giving names or too much details or stuff like that? What is like trying to hide this from my wife? These entertainment.
Funniest thing? I don't know.
It's like, listen,
like,
You don't know?
that $10,000 I spent at the club, don't tell nobody about this.
I wouldn't.
Speaking
I
of,
wouldn't really say funny.
is that considered entertainment, by the way?
I mean, I guess if you take your staff, it's like if you have a staff meeting, but who's gonna have a staff meeting in the middle of the club? Like, come on, you gotta.
Is there a certain limit on how much?
Is there any other way to have a staff meeting?
Yes, like coffee,
I feel like that's the only way to have a staff
We
meeting.
can have a staff meeting at what Union is a nice little.
Oh my
like,
God.
The next staff meeting is
Y'all
at
doing too
DTC.
much. DTC. Y'all doing way too much.
Hey, bring
Bottle
the,
services, it's a write-off.
bring the IRS man in there.
Tell them run the receipts.
Yeah.
We got the whole section.
Exactly.
Y'all hilarious. Funniest thing though, I don't know. I don't really run into like, cause I feel like the thing about taxes too, especially if you do like a married filing joint, like both of them have to review the tax return and you have to tell them like, and the documents too. A lot of the times.
Come on, I know you got some guy that has like a little like apartment. That he's like, listen,
No.
this one is off the books. Don't tell my wife about this little condo I got in North Loop.
Hey, I'm not partaking in any of this.
Look, I never came across anything like that, but I would not be surprised if there were some accountants out there that have been doing this for like 20 years that probably came across some people that's like, you know, I got a little this and that going on. Don't tell my spouse or whatever, which sucks, but
It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible thing.
it is terrible. Yes, it's terrible.
Hey, it's life. What are you gonna do? But anyway,
It's a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say that I've came across anything like along those lines.
has anything even made you like smile? Like anything like?
This guy's trying to get in the dirty world of accounting.
There is a huge dirty world of accounting. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the accounting world is like, on the face of it, it's like they're like boring. But listen, beneath
Deep
those
down,
numbers, numbers never lie. People, men lie,
numbers-
women lie.
but the numbers don't lie.
Numbers don't lie.
Okay, I guess this wasn't really something that went on a person's taxes, but I've seen like OnlyFans transactions on
Oh my God. How much was it? Was it a lot?
No, it wasn't a lot. It's just one of those things where you could tell a
Selling
person.
$3.99 toe photos.
come on.
No, you can tell like a person is like buying to like watch or like subscribe to a person. not them selling stuff on OnlyFans.
Oh, okay, that's
You get
even
what I'm
worse
saying?
because I applaud the person selling.
But I don't know if they had a spouse.
I disapprove
I
of
don't
the
think
person
they did.
buying.
I don't think that person had a spouse. I mean, they could have had a girlfriend or something. I don't know.
So if a woman wants to find out if their man is cheating,
Don't
on
ask
them,
me because I'm not about to share
Go
the
to your accountant. Tell them to pull
I
it
mean,
up.
if you're married filing joint, I mean, they're going to see the tax return anyways and the financial documents. Usually the wife is the one that submits it, to be honest. It's rarely the husband.
The husband?
Submits
And
it.
she's doing
She's
an
gonna have to.
OnlyFans.
No.
I know that would be bad if you find out that your spouse is doing
I have
OnlyFans.
nothing wrong with people who do. I find nothing wrong with people who do OnlyFans. It's actually a career. I know a lot of people that are making bank. I know a lot of people who file their taxes legit that have OnlyFans.
A lot of people? You know a lot of people.
I have no, not in that type of way.
You made it seem like you have a whole clientele base.
But I do have some clients, and then I also have like a community of like tax preparers, and we bounce ideas off of each other, and that's definitely like a career path that we see coming along with people actually making good money, treating it as a business,
Yeah.
electing to be an S corp, like all these things, because they're making a lot of money.
I want to applaud women making good money off of OnlyFans, because yes, like if I could personally sell a foot picture for $30 or whatever,
I think there's some a little bit more than that, my man.
Trust me, some of them are just regular Instagram photos, and it's like, if I could finesse that from other people, like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
If there's guys out here finessing cable things, like,
For real.
Yeah, that's true.
so it's like, kudos to them.
Yeah,
but
kudos.
Haram to all the other people buying it. Okay.
They have fetishes that they need they handle in the darkness.
Someone. Yes, stop. Which is like, it's bad because I'm like hurting their business, but for the love of God, stop. Okay.
They cannot stop. They're not going to listen to
I'm
you.
going to keep getting them emails like, resubscribe.
Right.
I got a new video or a new picture.
Oh, God. Haram. We're going to name this podcast the Haram Podcast. Anyway. Okay. This is another we're kind of getting into more like lighthearted questions and stuff. If you could give one piece of financial advice to a fictional character, who would it be and what would you tell them? I thought about this earlier too, and I picked someone. Yeah, like a fictional character. Like, who knows? Like Bruce Wayne, or who knows? Like a Harry Potter or something. I don't know. Like, if you could, even a movie you might like, hey, this person needs some financial help.
Fictional character?
Yeah. Either from a book, a movie, TV show, whatever.
Yeah, think of your favorite movie.
Breaking Bad, Heisenberg. What would you tell him? Would you tell him to buy those laundry mats and everything?
You know, it's so crazy. I don't watch Breaking Bad, but I do watch, I'm trying to think of like other fictional. I've been watching some crazy shows. Like, I like
Grey's Anatomy?
No, like Power and like.
Oh, I like Power too.
Well, what would you tell Ghost?
Wait a minute. Is that your favorite character? Who's your favorite character? I feel like you like Kanan. You like Kanan type, huh?
Kanan was cool.
Yeah.
Kanan. I watch BMF too.
BMF, I like that. I like watch that
if
too.
I had to,
what would you tell Big Meech?
Yeah, Big Meech. He's a real person in real life.
Yes.
But in the show, I probably would have told him, "Don't be as flashy."
Yes.
Because that's how they got caught up in their stuff.
Don't keep the cash in the Ferrari compartments.
Yeah, don't do silly stuff. Don't buy jewelry to the extent that they were doing. Just
mink coats.
And it's all. I mean, I get it to a certain extent, because if you never had nothing,
you should have took the Southwest T route.
Yes,
should have took T's. The brother, if anyone doesn't know,
the brother. Yeah, definitely T's route. But when you're seeing that type of money too, it's not too many people that come from nothing, I will say.
Especially in Detroit too.
The smartest people
in those type of cities,
the smartest people know how to keep it under wraps, and they live comfortably for the rest of their lives.
For the rest of their lives,
but no one will ever know.
No.
Yeah, he'll still drive the same old Honda.
Yep.
He'll still. I'll never forget this video. Sorry to interrupt, but I never forget this video of when the 60 Minutes was interviewing Jeff Bezos, and at this time he was $10 billion worth, and they're riding around in his Honda Accord of like 96 or something, and it's 1999. They're doing this, and the guy's like, "You're worth about $10 billion." He's like, "Okay." He's like, "The only reason I say that is, what's up with the Honda Accord?" And he's like,
"It's just a car.
It's just a car."
A lot of people are like that, and those people are the ones that really are building generational
wealth.
Are.
Yeah. They are.
Yeah,
they're not like, flashy.
Usually, the flashiest people are the brokest.
Or they end up being the brokest. Like it ends up catching up to them, especially if you got your money in ways that you should have.
I mean, a great example of this is Mike Tyson. Like, he had tons of money, and it just all like gone. Yep, and he had to kind of rebuild and everything like that.
Yeah. So I'd say, if I had to pick a halfway fictional character, I'm gonna say from BMF, because that's a show I've been watching consistently. Yeah, like, don't be as flashy. And I would also say, like, move smarter too, and like put some money up for your people type of thing. Because I don't know. I mean, I guess
when you say put some money up for your people, what does that mean?
build generational wealth. Like put the money in places where
Trust
your
accounts.
kids,
Trust accounts, real estate.
real estate, those kinds of things
Yep.
where you're building for decades and generations to come, so that like your kids and grandkids can benefit from it.
Yeah,
but if
I
you
agree.
just got like wads of cash sitting around and the feds pull up on you, like
That's
they're
it.
gonna take it.
That's
yeah,
it. It's a
they're
wrap.
taking every asset that you
You're
got
done.
that they
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I get that. I get that.
That's why I got bank accounts in the Cayman Islands.
Hey, I had
Oh
a
my
professor
God.
that put me
Panama.
onto that. He had got a divorce and he moved all his
Before he
money
got the divorce.
before it got to the point where she could get her hands on
So
it.
she got nothing.
Let's have this guy on the podcast.
I don't look, and he's a smart guy. I don't
Yeah.
know what the like total outcome was, but I believe he beat them to the punch and did
Yeah.
what he needed to do. And he was one of those people that like kind of like a Jeff Bezos where you know he's wealthy, but like
Doesn't look
he-
like it.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah.
Driving like a 99
Yeah.
Toyota Corolla.
Just humble, just not flashy
Humble, not
or any
flashy.
of that. Yeah, I like that.
He had like his PhD. He went to Harvard. He has all these real estate properties. Just like very successful.
Yeah.
Made sure his kids are well off. But as soon as like he was about to get divorced and he knew she was gonna get lawyers and stuff, he was like, oh, let's wrap it up and
Yeah.
move
This
the
guy's smart.
assets. Yeah.
My whole thing with like all of that is like at one point like you want to live your life like it'd be
Comfortably.
like like the whole like 99 Honda that's cool for a little while, but it's like
Yeah. You want to treat yourself too.
obviously if you're doing illegal activities
Right.
and you're not paying, then yes, the flashy lifestyle
Right.
is not for you.
Right. Because you're bringing more attention to yourself.
Correct.
Right.
But if you are doing everything legit, then yeah, go
Treat yourself.
yeah,
Treat yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, he does own an island and private jets. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Panama.
Very well off.
He
but-
might he might not like cars like that. too.
He probably spends his money in other places. And there's
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of people like that where, you know, they really
Yeah.
like that one thing. Like there's some people who really like traveling. So that's where they put a lot of their money into
Yeah.
Right.
making sure that they're comfortable. They're at the best resorts and all these things. But yeah, I guess it just really depends on who the person is.
I mean, would you rather own a really nice car or an island?
An island for sure.
So I think that's what
an
Bezos did.
island. Don't blame him, but
Right.
Oh, Bezos? No, doesn't even have cars anymore. He has like spaceships.
literally, yeah.
Cars.
What is a car? It's
Yeah, like I got a rocket
Please.
that launches to the moon. You know,
Right.
I
You're
need a car
right.
for-
I don't need a car.
Yeah. Okay. If you could change one accounting rule or regulation, what do you think it would be? If you could
accounting.
wave a magic wand, or if you found the genie, whatever, collected all 7 Dragon Balls, whatever wish you needed to make.
Ooh, that's a hard one because there's so many rules and it applies to so many different type of people. But
Would it be the nails one?
I would say I don't know if this is really like one rule necessarily, but I would love to see the IRS have more consistency in the way their tax laws change and how soon they change to adapt to how our country is moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
economically? Because I feel like sometimes certain laws are a little delayed or like people will be impacted negatively for a couple of years and then all of a sudden it's like
Yep.
new tax law and it's like you guys should have done that so long ago.
Well, wasn't there a huge thing in regards to online? Like they didn't tax online purchases or this or that. There was this huge thing, and then they started doing that because if you bought online, let's say you bought from a state like Florida, bought
Yeah.
something from Florida that had
they
no
don't have
sales tax.
They don't have state
Yeah,
tax.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, how does that all
Yeah.
kind of work? Oh, and by the way, you know, we've been talking about like Caymans and Panama and stuff like that. Like, we don't even need to go that far for great tax laws. There's a place called South Dakota. And trust me, it is the new Delaware. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's actually
Tax
a handful of taxes states in the U.S. that don't have state taxes. So, yeah, I'd say for sure though that's one thing I would like to see.
Well,
change.
Texas doesn't have state income tax.
Yeah, they don't. Florida doesn't. Nevada.
Here's a question I just thought of. If you could, if you could make a shell corporation, what would that shell corporation name be?
Shell corporation. I don't know. I have to think about that. What would yours be? Or you already got one?
I'm not hiding money here, Shell Corporation.
I'm just trying.
Don't look here.
Yeah, literally. Shoebox.
Shoebox money.
Shoebox money. There we go.
If you have shoebox money, let Elham know. She could help you.
She can definitely help you
There's
out.
still a lot of people that like keep money in their shoebox, believe it or not.
Oh,
Ain't
yeah.
nothing wrong with it. Some people use it as a saving strategy, like a budgeting. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna put all my
Like a
tens
piggy bank.
aside. Yeah, exactly.
It's
Okay,
like another
so here's
form of
my
piggy bank.
here's my take, right? And then I feel like, especially in our community,
Yeah.
in regards to where we're from and everything like that, keeping cash is a terrible idea. Because due to inflation, you are losing that cash. It is better to invest that money into real estate, into other
high yield savings.
Yes, bonds, whatever the case may be. Because if you have money just laying around, it's either going to get taxed or due to inflation, just get eaten away. So like this whole notion of like, oh, I got all this 100,000 under my bed and mattress and this and that. That 100,000.
Find a financial advisor. Connect with a financial advisor and accountant.
We know a ton of them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. There's some really good ones in the Twin Cities. I work with one personally for myself. Shout out to Mark. He's dope.
Mark.
Connect with Elham, and she can connect you with other people. And
I have another one. His name is Danny. He's really
because
cool.
again, people in this our community really doesn't know. So like my dad always kept cash and thinking like, oh, like this $100 still $100. Like no. Playa, like the eggs cost $10.
Literally, eggs are
inflation's
high.
going up.
And
Milk is crazy.
Yes.
Grocery prices are insane.
Yeah, inflation is at a crazy rate, and it's just it's getting crazy. So it's very tough. Okay, so last thing, go ahead, plug yourself, tell the world everything, contact information, Instagram, Facebook, website, wherever they can find you. Talking to that camera right there.
Okay.
Tell them everything.
All right. So if you are in need of bookkeeping services, tax preparation, payroll, business consulting, you can reach me at my website. It's kind of long, www.universalaccservices.com. contact@universalaccservices.com. That's my email. I'm also on Google. So if you need to go to my website and submit an inquiry, that's totally fine too. I have a booking link on my website. So if you want to book a free tax consultation, 15 minutes, bookkeeping consultation, also free for the first 15 minutes, and payroll. Let's see. Phone number is also on there. IG, universal.accounting. Facebook, universal accounting. I feel like I'm on every platform, dang.
TikTok.
So that's gonna,
Snapchat.
Look, that's the one. I'm gonna cross over to TikTok one of these days, but
We've been talking about that too.
yeah,
It's gonna be banned. I'm not gonna start
You think
something.
so?
I know so. It's gonna
Really?
be banned. Yes.
Why?
Because it's a Chinese corporation that is malicious in what they do, and it's already been banned in a few states, few countries.
Yeah, I've
the
seen a couple of
government
states.
itself has banned, so Congress can't have TikTok.
Whoa.
Because they purposely send terrible stuff to like other countries where like the kids of this country either have to do like dumb stuff or dances.
I've seen that.
Whereas then the kids
Yeah.
in China get like educational video.
Like you're making them geniuses the whole time.
And making the world.
Kids aren't the smartest.
Yeah, like kids are doing crate challenges or other dumb
Just
stuff.
dumb
I've
dances
seen
and all
that. Yeah, or putting kids in danger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone, all of our info will be in the link below, so you guys can contact her for your tax purpose needs. Better Call Elham. That's a new show on Netflix. That's
Better Call Elham.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Might be coming soon to
There
screen
go.
near you.
There you go. To Netflix. Binge watch it.
Yeah. Thank you
Okay.
guys so much. I appreciate it.
No,
Yeah,
thank
for
you,
sure.
Elham. Thank you for your time.
No
We know how
problem.
valuable it is. We are grateful for you to come on here today to speak to us, to our
Lot of
viewers,
gems, lot
our
of gems you
listeners.
dropped.
We really enjoyed and learned a ton in this podcast. We hope you come back in the future when you have the biggest accounting firm here in Minnesota. Right?
For sure.
We pray for your continued success.
Thank you.
Above all, your health and the health of your family. So everyone, please like, subscribe, and comment what you took away from this wonderful and insightful podcast about accounting or something you can work on in regards to your own personal finance. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back here for episode 17. Thank you.
See you.
See ya.